We will implode more patriotic news. Thank you. Trump just held surprise ceremony. Liberal media refuses to cover it when they see who it's for. Although the mainstream media was 100% silent. Thursday morning, President Donald Trump awarded 5 police officers the Medal of Valor for their bravery during last month's baseball practice shooting, where Republican Congressman Steve Scalise was seriously wounded in Alexandria, Virginia. Trump went on to congratulate each and every one of those heroes and told them the nation is forever in their debt. The Medal of Valor award went to 2 Capitol Police Special Agents, David Bailey and Crystal Griner, and 3 Alexandria Police Department officers, Nicole Battaglia, Kevin Jobe, and Alexander Jensen. President Trump said, "They are American heroes and we salute them." He also said this crime reminds all of us that evil does exist in this world and that many times it walks amongst us. May God bless these 5 heroes. Scalise also thanked them for their service by sending a statement. "I cannot think of a group of individuals more deserving of this award," he said. Most people instinctively run from danger, but these officers did not hesitate to put their own lives on the line to run towards it that morning of June 14th to protect the lives of others. Everyone who was at the ballpark that morning owes their lives to the selfless and brave actions of these heroes, and I cannot thank them enough. 51-year-old Scalise was shot in the hip, and although he has had a tough road with infections and such, he is expected to make a full recovery. The shooter was Bernie Bro James Hodgkinson, 66, from Belleville, Illinois. Luckily he was shot dead by police after opening fire in Alexandria, Virginia during what was a practice session for the annual Republican versus Democrat charity baseball game. Hodgkinson maintained a social media presence that was heavily pro-Bernie Sanders and insanely anti-Republican. Here's a timeline of the events leading up to and following the shooting. 6:30 a.m. The Republican baseball team held practice at Eugene Simpson Stadium Park in Alexandria, said Williams in a statement. Shortly after 7 a.m., a man walked up to Reps. Ron DeSantis, R. Florida, and Jeff Duncan, RS.C., as they were getting into a car to leave the field and asked whether it was Republicans or Democrats at there, DeSantis told Fox News. The shooting occurred shortly afterward. It is not clear whether the man was the shooter or was connected to the shooter. 7:09 a.m., Alexandria police received a call reporting shots fired at the park, according to Alexandria Police Department Chief Michael Brown. During the shooting, Representative Mo Brooks, R. Alabama, told CNN after the shooting, "I was on deck about to hit batting practice on the third base side, and I hear bam. And I look around, and behind third base, in the third base dugout, which is a cinder block, I see a rifle, and I see a little bit of a body. At the same time, I hear Steve Scalise over near second base scream. He was shot. The shooter fired at least 50 rounds." 7:12 a.m., Alexandria police arrived at the park, Brown said. Capitol Police officers exchanged fire with the shooter, said Capitol Police Chief Matthew Verderosa. 7:14 a.m., police shot Hodgkinson, according to a joint statement released by the FBI, Capitol Police and local law enforcement. After the shooting, Brooks and other congressmen, including Representative Brad Winstrop, R. Ohio, and Flake, used Brooks' belt as a tourniquet to slow Scalise's bleeding, Brooks said. Winstrop, who has experience as a doctor, said he performed what you call a sweep, checking for any other wounds. When the medics came, we had better bandaging to put on the wound, kept him stable and made sure he was conscious, aware, got some hydration. Scalise was conscious during treatment, Winstrop said, adding, he was as brave as he could possibly be. According to Winstrop, Scalise said he was thirsty. Obviously, you don't know how much fluid he may be losing internally. We made sure he got as much fluid, Gatorade and water until they could get to him. Scalise was transported to MedStar Washington Hospital Center, where he underwent surgery. Before surgery, he spoke to his wife and was in good spirits, according to a statement from his office. 8:01 a.m., White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer confirmed that Trump and Vice President Mike Pence are aware of the developing situation in Virginia, adding, "Our thoughts and prayers are with all affected." 8:23 a.m., Alexandria police confirmed via Twitter that suspect was in custody and was no longer a threat. 8:48 a.m., Trump tweeted, "Representative Steve Scalise of Louisiana, a true friend and patriot, was badly injured but will fully recover. Our thoughts and prayers are with him." 9:30 a.m., the FBI became involved with the investigation into the shooting, said Tim Slater, the special agent who heads the Bureau's Washington field office. After the FBI confirmed that a member of Congress was involved, the agency took the lead on the investigation, working with state and local partners. 10:39 a.m., Representative Roger Williams, R. Texas, confirmed that Zach Barth, a legislative correspondent in his office, was shot. Barth is receiving medical attention and is expected to make a full recovery. 11:10 a.m., multiple law enforcement sources identified the suspected shooter as Hodgkinson, 66, of Belleville, Illinois. 11:36 a.m., Trump made remarks on the shooting and said, "The assailant has now died from his injuries." Trump called the attack a very, very brutal assault and said Scalise is a patriot, and he's a fighter. Law enforcement later confirmed Hodgkinson died from his injuries in the hospital. Isn't it just sad how every time something good comes out of the Trump administration the mainstream media is 100% silent? While during the failed presidency of Barack Hussein Obama they would even report, applaud and cheer when the president had a successful bowel movement? It's no wonder the mainstream media has an approval rating of a mere 32%. Please share if you want unbiased news coverage from the mainstream. Obama emerges from hiding acting like he's president now, makes nasty announcement about Trump. As always, former President Barack Hussein Obama has taken it upon himself to be the jackass that he's been since day one. Friday, an Obama spokesperson Kevin Lewis, "Why does this charlatan still need a spokesman?" who is a former Justice Department official, released a statement responding to the failed GOP Obamacare repeal efforts. The Republican effort to repeal the Affordable Care Act failed last night in the early hours of the morning. Last night's vote served as the final kill shot to the 7-year Republican-led effort to repeal Obamacare. The Affordable Care Act has always been about something bigger than politics. It's about the character of our country. It's about the 20 million Americans and counting who've gained the security and peace of mind of health insurance, and the tens of millions more who benefited from upgrades like free preventative care, such as mammograms and vaccines, and improvements in the quality of care in hospitals that have averted more than 100,000 deaths so far. It's about the dreams protected, and the untold misery and ruin prevented. Today, it remains that way because of everyone who mobilized, organized and made their voices heard. The Affordable Care Act has made America stronger and healthier, but there will always be more work to do. President Obama has always said we should build on this law, just as members of both parties worked together to improve Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid over the years. President Obama still believes that it is possible for Congress to demonstrate the necessary bipartisanship and political courage to keep delivering on the promise of quality, affordable health insurance for every American. Since this two-bit charlatan just can't seem to keep his dog-eating mouth shut, I think it's about time we talked about the lies he told about Obamacare and wiped that old smirk off his face. 1. If you like your healthcare plan, you will be able to keep your healthcare plan. Millions of Americans had their health plans canceled, some even more than once. And the Obama administration knew this would happen but lied to all of us about it. I am one of those Americans. 2. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor. Obamacare instead narrowed provider networks. Millions of Americans were unable to keep their own doctor. Myself included. 3. We're going to lower your premiums by up to $2,500 per family per year. Obama claimed this law would work alongside employers to lower the health insurance premiums of the average family by thousands of dollars every year. But millions of families saw their premiums increase by double digits every year since the law was forced down our throats. My own insurance went up $850 per month. 4. No family making less than $250,000 a year will see their taxes increase. Obamacare adds 18 new or increased taxes, many of which hit the middle class. Myself included. 5. I will not sign a plan that adds one dime to our deficits, now or in the future. Obamacare adds over $6 trillion to the deficit long term. And Obama knew this for a fact since day one. 6. I will sign a universal healthcare bill into law that covers every American. Obamacare will leave over 30 million without health insurance. Myself included. All it did was ensure those under the poverty level which already had Medicaid and uninsured those in the middle class who are a threat to the Democrat Party. And who can ever forget the architect of Obamacare and his famous quote, "You can't do it political, you just literally cannot do it." Transparent financing and also transparent spending. I mean, this bill was written in a tortured way to make sure CBO did not score the mandate as taxes. If CBO scored the mandate as taxes, the bill dies. Okay? So it's written to do that, Gruber said. In terms of risk-rated subsidies, if you had a law which said that healthy people are going to pay in, you made explicit healthy people pay in and sick people get money, it would not have passed. Lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. And basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever, but basically that was really critical to get for the thing to pass. Look, I wish Mark was right that we could make it all transparent, but I'd rather have this law than not. Jonathan Gruber, America, it's time we face it. The naiveness of the people on the right who believe the GOP and their 7-year live repealing and replacing Obamacare, coupled with the wanting to believe in the first American president of the people on the left, has brought us to today. Obamacare will fail, that's a fact, and instead of going back to what we had before, both parties will drive us to a single-payer system. Please share if you want to see Obamacare repealed. Scaramucci's wife suddenly files for divorce after just 3 years. Here's unbelievable reason why? Anthony Scaramucci is the newly minted White House Communications Director. He has already established a reputation as being a no-nonsense businessman willing to tell it like it is. This recent revelation concerning his family is no different. It was announced a short while after he accepted his new position that his wife of 3 years had filed for divorce through the court. Several anonymous sources told reporters at Page 6 that his wife Deidre Ball had decided to file divorce not long after they had tied the knot. One source reportedly said this was the reason she was filing to end their marriage. She is tired of his naked ambition, which is so enormous that it left her at her wits' end. Another source indicated that the president had actually played a negative role in their relationship and his willingness to work for him had created a wedge in their relationship. The source reportedly said, Deidre is not a fan of Trump, and she hasn't exactly been on board and supportive of Anthony and his push to get back into the White House. Scaramucci tweeted at a request for the media to leave his family alone following this divorce filing. Specifically, his tweets pointed at reporters where he said that this time will determine which journalists have class and which do not. His family includes his wife as well, 3 children from previous relationships. Those include 21-year-old Amelia, 18-year-old Anthony Jr., and 24-year-old Alexander. The Daily Mail reported the following about Scaramucci and his wife. The wife of Anthony Scaramucci has filed for divorce. This will be the second divorce for the father of 3, who has a daughter Amelia, 21, and 2 sons, 18-year-old Anthony Jr. and Alexander, 24, who goes by Aj. The Wall Street financier, 53, married Ball in 2014, but it is unclear when the two began dating. Ball, 38, left her job as a vice president in investor relations for Skybridge Capital after Scaramucci sold the firm. She has donated money to both Republican and Democratic politicians, including Representative Kathleen Rice's DN.Y campaign, and Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker's presidential bid, The Hill reported. She and Scaramucci live in the Long Island town of Manhasset, which is also home to Bill O'Reilly and Jose Reyes. He was photographed at the White House on Friday without his wedding ring, Although the band was spotted on his finger when he appeared on the morning television shows from the front lawn of the White House on Wednesday. Scaramucci was previously married to Lisa Miranda, who is the mother of Amelia. Miranda appears to have far different political leanings than her ex-husband, having supported Hillary Clinton in the recent election. She also proved to be very calm and collected in the wake of President Trump's surprise election win, writing on Facebook, "Congratulations to those who chose to support Donald Trump. I sincerely hope that he proves to be all you hoped for." She then said to her fellow Clinton supporters, "What seems like a setback is just the setup for a future of true equality," while inside reports seem to show that Scaramucci has always been a highly ambitious and tenacious individual. Which would make it appear that perhaps his wife felt that she could change him but failed to do so, and when she couldn't she ended the relationship. However, people never change. To think so is naive. The Daily Mail also reported the following: Scaramucci got his start in the world of finance at Goldman Sachs, working at the firm for 17 years after graduating from law school in 1989. He then left in 1996 to start his own firm, Oscar Capital Management, which in 2001 sold to Neuberger Berman. It was in 2005 that he created Sky Capital, which became his biggest success and pushed his fortune over the billion-dollar mark. One of the myth-like stories told about Scaramucci is the one about how he was hired, fired and then rehired by Goldman in the span of just 1 year. That polarizing characteristics that could make such a situation seem plausible were certainly on display this week, when Scaramucci delivered a foul-mouthed tirade of an interview to a reporter from The New Yorker after failing to state at any point that what he was saying was off the record. While Scaramucci chalked up his comments in the interview as colorful language, he cancelled his appearances on a number of panels at Politicon this weekend. In the end, President Trump elected to part with Scaramucci's nemesis, the former chief of staff Reince Priebus, rather than his new right-hand man. He has also hosted the Fox Business Network's Wall Street Week in 2015 after he pitched the idea of a revival to Roger Ailes. Regardless of political affiliation, Scaramucci's family should be off limits. He was certainly right about one thing. For reporters to write about his personal tragedy is nothing more or less than class.